My name is Robert. I'm the CEO of VOO. VOO is the first B2B marketplace that delivers private jet or business aviation bookings for charter flights. It's a B2B platform, so it's about charter brokers and operators getting into a charter contract, and this is the software that we do.
Brilliant. So can you explain how VOO works and what your USPs are?
Yeah, sure. So you need to know a little bit about my background. I was a previous charter sales manager, and I also had my charter company over 10 years. So I know the industry quite well, and I know the problems that we have in charter. If you remember, maybe 20 years ago, there was this big phone book called the Air Charter Guide, and this is how people did charters more or less with their database or with what is mentioned in that book, which aircraft are available on the charter market. Then there was another company who did a digital version more or less of that. In addition to that information, also where the aircraft are positioned in order to get good offers when you request certain aircraft. What we do is totally different. So it's a evolution of what already exists in the charter market in terms of software. It's a revolution in the business aviation industry, and it's a similar approach, a similar user experience as if you book a regular scheduled flight, maybe on British Airways, flying from London to New York. So the procedure is that you search for a flight, you see what is available at which price. You can trust price and availability because it's calculated automatically by a software with the inputs of an operator, as if an experienced sales guy, charter sales guy in the operator's company would have manually calculated that flight. So
Right.
this is the big difference to all the other systems that have disadvantages in calculating properly and according to the operator's inputs. And the only thing you need to do is to book the flight, and we also have a payment possibility. This is not necessarily needed to be used, but it's an option, especially on time critical bookings, on ad hoc flights, especially out of bank hours and on the weekend.
Fantastic. You mentioned about your charter pricing system there. Can you tell me how you calculate that?
A bit, of course. Something is the secret how we do that, but it's more or less everything that, as I said, an experienced person in charter sales with an operator does manually when they receive a quote request. This is done automatically in the software with the prior input of that operator's specialist. So which means it's not only the A to B pricing, it considers all the taxes, also luxury taxes, for example, that you have in Italy, on aircraft and passenger level. You have all the airport pricing, not just only landing fee and passenger fee, but it's parking, it's out of office hours, it's holiday charges, it's night charges, it's handling fees of various FBOs. So everything that is related to either the aircraft or the passengers or the airports that the aircraft are approaching, parking, flying days, catering budget, maybe that the broker sets during the search. So
Yeah.
everything that you need to consider when you calculate the flight properly is in the system. Also, the logistics of the aircraft under risk or certainty. So if there is something already scheduled close to this flight, or there is nothing within reach if you book months ahead, for example, when the schedule of the operator is empty. So how somebody in the operator's company would react to such a request with all the experience they have, with all the parameters they need to consider, management contracts they have with the aircraft owners. They need to fulfill, for example, how long is the aircraft allowed to fly out of home base. All these things are taken into consideration. And what the system does automatically within seconds is what the people with other software do right now manually. Whenever there is an empty leg or an empty sector that we can take advantage of, with a connecting flight, then we do that. So until now, we didn't release any empty leg feature because I didn't find it necessary to do that. But the market demanded that so much, even though we have this automatically as a discount with your search result, that we decided to develop an empty leg feature that we will introduce at Air Charter Expo.